Welcome to the Noon Whistle. Our special guest today is newly retired Chief Christensen. We'll just call him Chief Christensen of the Elkhorn Police Department. So thanks for taking time.
No problem.
You have time now.
It is. Yes.
Yeah, you have time. Well, congratulations. Thank you for your service. And we're glad to have you. And I'd like to walk through kind of your career, but also some things that have gone on or changed in Elkhorn over the years from the time you were an officer, which was a couple years ago, until now.
Just a couple.
Just a couple of years. in more than law enforcement, let's not just talk law enforcement, because you're an Elkhorn alumni. Your family is raised here. Your wife is an alumni. You've been a coach. You've been an official. You've been a referee. I mean, you have touched Elkhorn in more than just law enforcement. So we got to talk about all that.
Okay,
this might take more than 15 minutes.
All right, let's get at it.
All right, let's get at it. You're kind of pushing me.
That's
You're
all right.
anxious to get at this. Yeah. And I've had the pleasure to work with you, and you were inspirational to me and a mentor to me. So yeah, we'll probably bring up that stuff too.
Okay.
Probably not all the stories, but some.
Just some.
Just some.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be careful about that. So your law enforcement career started really in high school.
It did, actually.
And how did it start in high school?
They actually had an Explorer program through the Boy Scouts.
Okay.
So myself and some other former Elkhorn alumni participated in that program. And that's kind of how I came to Elkhorn PD.
And that was an introduction to law enforcement, or what did they have you do that introduced you to law enforcement?
It was. So officers, do you remember Ron Smith?
I do.
Okay. I believe another former alumni, and Dan Dixon,
Okay.
spearheaded the program, actually.
Oh.
And yeah, you kind of not only got to ride along on ride-alongs, they would actually have specific like training topics, CPR or the like.
Oh, wow.
We would work like the events at the high school, basketball games with them and the like, and just being kind of learning
So
the
you
training.
do like the crowd control and stuff like
Yeah, we'd
that,
sit-
walk around at
right,
games?
yes.
Did you have a uniform?
Yeah, we did.
Really?
Actually. Yeah.
Huh.
Light blue. Not dark.
Not dark.
Light blue.
So you were part of the police department. They said, hey, you're not getting the same color as we did.
Right, exactly.
Well, there was another Elkhorn guy that had a law enforcement career that was one with you, right? Was Pete Jaski?
He was.
Was he?
Yes, actually.
All right. And I think he ended up in South Milwaukee,
Yeah.
South Milwaukee PD for years and
extended
years.
career there.
Another retired guy.
Yes.
But all right. So the reserve program, and then you decided like this is what I want to do, or before that, had you already known I want to be a law enforcement
Yeah,
officer?
no, I knew before that that law enforcement was kind of going to be my career choice.
Okay.
Thanks in great part to my former brother-in-law, who was in the field at the time, and kind of, I guess, piqued my interest in the profession, so to speak.
Okay.
So he was the driving force.
Nice. So your first law enforcement job was that in Elkhorn?
It was actually.
It was.
Yep. Former Chief Geezy hired me part-time as a reserve officer, and that's how I landed my first career job.
So reserve meaning part-time.
Part-time, correct. Yeah.
And then, if I remember right, I don't think, was Elkhorn your first full-time job?
No, actually, Bob Prusing down in Williams Bay hired me full-time.
Okay.
So I was a police officer down in Williams Bay for just over a year.
Okay.
Coming back to Elkhorn. I continued to work part-time in Elkhorn during that time,
All right.
but a spot opened up full-time here in Elkhorn, and I came back home.
Well, we're glad you didn't stay in the Bay and came to Elkhorn, but the Bay is a great place. A lot of good things come from Williams Bay.
That is very true.
So you were fairly young when that all took place, right?
Yeah, too young. I'm sorry
Too
to
young?
say, yes.
Okay. We won't
Looking
say
back
how
on it
young,
now.
but you were very young. So then you were working part-time for Elkhorn. What year did you get hired? We don't even need to say that, do we? What year you got hired in Elkhorn? Was that
It's 89. I got
89 you got hired in Elkhorn full-time?
full-time.
Okay. And then off you went from there. Never looked back?
Never looked back.
Never looked back. Okay. So you were a patrolman then in Elkhorn?
Correct.
All right. And I want to tell a story here because I got hired in 90 at the Elkhorn PD. And we were working, it must have been, I don't know, maybe 92 or so. And you had asked me one night, we were working third shift, like, what do you want to do with your career here? And I was just happy as punch to be a patrolman and a young kid. Like, well, this is exciting. This is neat. I love this. And you told me when I asked you, you said, well, I want to be chief. And I thought you were nuts. I'm like, how does this young guy know he wants to be chief? But yeah, okay. And I agreed with you on that. And yeah, you worked hard and ended up being the chief. And I'm like, this guy's dreams came true. But there were a couple steps in between, right? You just didn't jump from patrolman to chief.
No. So in 1999, I was selected as a detective.
Okay.
And I did that work for a couple of years as well. And then 2001, I received a promotion to lieutenant.
Okay.
Before taking the chief spot in 2002.
Okay. And then 2002 to 2026, you've been the chief of police.
Yes.
Yeah. A great run.
It has been.
A great run. Yeah, we're thankful that you're the chief. You've done a lot of good things, and I'd kind of like to run down some of these. I know you're not a guy to brag or boast or talk too much about yourself, but I think it's worth recognizing that at the time you became chief, the police department was still on North Washington Street in a shared building.
The old county highway department.
The old county highway department, yeah, and it was pretty small. Well, it was small. It was really small.
The multi-use room where you ate lunch in front of the person you have in custody. Yes,
true.
It was small.
Multi-purpose room. You got your mail there. You got your coffee there. You're right. You're right. But recognizing that, you started the process of what can we do to get a new police department? And yeah, tell us about kind of that journey and where the police department ended up.
Well, we have been looking at with the city being able to utilize the former sheriff's office right downtown in the square. And that ended up coming to fruition. And we ended up remodeling the first floor of what used to be the sheriff's office on the west wing of the county building. And then on the second floor, about half of that as well, where the former jail once was. So we were able to renovate that and meet that for really the foreseeable needs right now.
Yeah. And you probably remember, how many square feet was that?
Oh,
approximate. Because I think, was the old police department like maybe 1,000 square feet or so? Maybe 2,000?
Yeah, because there was a slight addition that, I don't know if you remember, we did at the former police department as well, where there was just a breezeway kind of back to the garage, and we remodeled and added on some rooms to make kind of a makeshift locker room as well as an interview room.
Yeah, yeah.
So we added some additional space, but I want to say, don't quote me on this, but I want to say that ground floor is close to 10,000 square feet at the police department. So we probably have close to 15, but that's just a guess.
So significant move.
Oh, it was, yeah, and much needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was a big move, and yeah, I failed to mention that the sheriff's department moved out, and that's when they got their new facility out by the hospital.
Correct.
And then the police department moved in.
Yeah, there was that time period in between where it just kind of sat vacant for a number of years before we were able to renovate. But it was a vast improvement. Like I said, there's still plenty of space. There's room for future growth there as well.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, no, big move, big step for Elkhorn Police Department, really, and being in the center of town was handy. And so with that kind of launched some other things that I have note here of things that really you've been the forefront on, and a lot of that is technology as time passed, and switching to a new records management system, a more robust, a little more agile system that collected better information, I guess, or maybe you could explain when you went to that records management system why that was.
Yeah, so originally each kind of agency was on its own independent system of itself. So we couldn't communicate or talk to each other. Like the sheriff's records were just the sheriff's records. I couldn't see those without actually having to go ask the sheriff for those records, or Delavan PD, or whatever it may be. So the county actually started a search for a new records program, and at that time we basically were able to join in with them to get a shared system so that we could actually access each other's information, or look at records all at the same time.
Okay.
So we were the initial agency to join them, and now the county itself, every agency is on the same system, and we're all seeing or have access to those same records.
Yeah, which is pretty crucial when it comes to having access to data that can solve crimes, right?
Right. It's just, yeah, as you know, communication is key.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just another way to communicate.
Yeah. Yeah. And then right along with that, when we talk technology, was something that's called the track system. And that's a state of Wisconsin system, correct?
Yeah, it's throughout the state. Every agency now uses tracks, which is kind of basically an online traffic citation and crime system.
So going away from the books that you had with the carbons and rip out and things like that.
Actually came across some of those in my bag. I had to share with some of the officers.
Well, you should keep those antiques.
That's why I gave them to the officers. Hey, this is the old days where you had white out, pink white out,
right,
blue white out, yellow white out.
So when you typed the back on a typewriter,
right,
you made a mistake.
Exactly.
You could get it, but and you better keep some too in case the system goes down. At least then you got some.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, that was another big advancement, and that, when you say traffic citation, that started the computers in the car.
Right, correct, yeah.
And a printer in the car, right?
Printer in the car, yeah. Back in the day, it was just the radio was all you had in your shotgun, basically, with you in the car.
Yeah, throwing back to that, you're right. It was, you had a radio and that was it.
Yep, and then the controls for the light. Otherwise,
that
was it.
There wasn't a lot of buttons.
No, there wasn't much technology.
Then there was a point where the police department made a move on vehicles. It went from Crown Victorias, the Ford Crown Victorias, to like an SUV. What were some of the reasons for making those changes?
Primarily just better for the weather, the environments that we face on a daily basis. The all-wheel drive obviously was much needed over the rear-wheel drive. You may recall we used to weight down the trunks with sandbags to try and get enough weight to get through the snow. So primarily it was just kind of what we have to face here in the winter weather to get through, as well as it's better on the equipment to keep it all temperature controlled versus in the trunk where it suffers the cold.
Sure. Yeah. Where the things like AEDs and that oxygen tanks don't do so well when it gets below zero.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. And everything's got a battery now. So.
Right. Another thing that you were really adamant about was community policing. Why did you feel community policing strategies and those things were so important to a police department?
Just because policing is about building relationships, and you have to get out and meet with the people in order to get your work job done. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we've done everything that we can to try and expand on that to this day, but it's about relationship building. Yeah,
it is. And I think Elkhorn does a good job with that. And it's, like you said, it's continued, and you continued that on and even took it even farther forward. I know you guys have done stuff like Coffee with a Cop and things like that to build those relationships. And we are still a small town.
We are.
Right? And that's probably even more crucial in a small town than it is in a large city, maybe.
Right. I think undoubtedly.
Yeah. And moving right on, you've got a lot of work done while you've been here. What's called the CSO program. What is that, and how did that come about?
So the Community Service Officer program was kind of born out of the idea of getting younger people interested in the job, an opportunity to experience it firsthand on a part-time basis, at least portions of it.
Mm-hmm.
obviously a community service officer is a civilian position, so they cannot go out and arrest people.
Okay.
But they handle many of the same things that an officer would, as far as like quality of life things, whether that be a parking complaint or an animal complaint, a nuisance of some type. So it was about getting that experience for people maybe while they're in school to become a police officer, and then using that as a resume builder for them, or just seeing if this profession is or is not for them. And we had so much success. I'm trying to think now off the top of my head how many former CSOs we currently have as full-time officers, because it was a way for them to experience us and us to experience them at the same time, and be able to land them. And it's been just a great opportunity for us.
Like having a job and an interview every day.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. While still going to school and getting some money at the same time.
Yep.
It's been, I think, a win-win.
When did that program start? What, do you recall what year that was?
Oh, it was in the early 2000s. I don't remember the exact year. Shortly after, I want to say like 2004, possibly.
Okay. Yeah, so that's been around a while.
Yeah, for sure.
That's been around a while.
And it's actually expanded now. We actually have a full-time community service officer.
Okay.
Who's taken over evidence and property management functions as well. Just trying to relieve those kind of duties from an officer's responsibility, so an officer has more time to do their investigations or whatever.
Okay. And I suppose keep them on the road instead of in the evidence room doing stuff.
Correct. More visible.
Nice. Nice. Well, do you have anything that, there might be one more question. Is there something that stands out to you that you're most proud of, or something in the time that you've been in law enforcement that, I guess maybe most proud of is what I'm thinking of. Is something that stands out to you, like this was really, a game changer? Or
I don't know if there's anything that's most proud. I guess just looking back at things, obviously more recent is obviously easier sometimes to look at. But for the tragedy that happened at the sports page, I think how we came together as an agency with assistance of others to be able to put that crime to rest in such a short period of time, because truly the community was at unease.
Sure.
And to be able to do what we did in the period of time was something that I'm very proud of the team and what they did.
Sure. Yeah, that's a big one in a time of community and police and other agencies, and everybody needs to come together.
And it was truly it was a federal, a state, and a local all working together to come to the resolution in such a fast pace. And to see that cooperation and be able to lead that was something that I'm obviously very proud of. And it was certainly an unfortunate tragedy.
Yeah. Is there anything you'll miss about law enforcement?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure there's many. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's great to retire, but
it is. I still love the job. I love law enforcement. That's what I always wanted to do. It's what I've always done.
Yeah.
So I enjoy the work.
37 years? Is that correct?
Yeah, 30. So,
okay.
Yeah, 87. Well, if you count my part-time work,
it'd be 38.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, but more importantly, I think it's going to be missing the people that I was able to work with on a daily basis, as well as the relationships that I've been able to, glean throughout that.
Sure.
That's what I miss most.
And the relationships are unique in law enforcement, I think, because in other places people work, you work with people and side by side and in teams and stuff like that. But I think in law enforcement and fire and rescue is probably very similar. Like you're dealing with stuff that you really rely and are vulnerable to your partner or other law enforcement officers as you're going through it. When there's, tragedy or crime or things like that, I think, you develop a pretty unique bond with the people you work with, whether your agency or other agencies. Would you agree with that?
Yes, for sure. Without a doubt. I mean, yeah, whether it's you have to have a certain trust in
Yeah.
each other when you're working together as a team, and sometimes the team is just you and your partner.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
dealing with people in trying times sometimes.
Yeah. And when things get bad and you look at each other like, we got to handle this, and it's just you and I, like
Right.
you really have to trust that person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking time today to
You're
chat.
welcome.
And yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciated my 28 years working with you and for you. And yeah, I hope you have a great retirement. And you certainly had a great career, and Elkhorn's lucky to have you. And hopefully that whoever that next person is will carry that tradition on.
I appreciate it.
So thank you. And thank you guys for listening. We are going to wrap it up here. So thanks again. And we will see you next time.